Hello there, my friends, and welcome to my channel. This is Kate in the Nest, and as always, it is so good to have you with me. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm here in the nest. It's a Friday night, and I'm excited to do sort of a Friday fun project, one that I've already started, but one that I haven't touched for a little while. So here's my handy nest. So glad to be back amongst my bits and pieces, and thank you for your welcoming messages. I've been truly touched by how much care I have received, and it thrills me to know that you're happy that I'm back, and I'm happy to be back, and I love chatting to you, and I've missed you. So whatever you're doing as you watch this, I wish you a wonderful day. So what's in my nest? This little snippet roll has been sort of down here at the side, and these are the Liberty scraps from Sarah Tovey that I was going to make a pom-pom before I went, that I haven't. Some of these beautiful wools, my scissors, always handy to find a pin in the nest. And what are we going to work on? Well, first of all, I should be saying, what are you working on? Because I know you've got lots of projects on, and the days are getting busier and busier. So I have gone back to a project that of necessity with purpose, and it is, I'll leave that there, it is the cover of my 2026 diary, not journal, diary. And this, I showed you her a while ago. In the meantime, I couldn't face just the blackness on my page. So this is a Natalie Latte sticker from her beautiful sticker book. I don't know whether I've shown you, but I use it every week in my Traveller's Company notebook. But that's just cheering me on. But this is designed to be a tactile textile cover. How about that? Tactile textile. To bring me joy. So there's the cuff. It's been a while. You might remember I got this embroidery from Beck, and I've been growing in confidence, and I feel really ready to just start embellishing. And I have, thanks to your advice, I have thought that I will make it a cover that goes on and off, so it doesn't always have to stay. And I have thought, you saw me grab this, that something like that might be a nice inside flap. So I would join that to there and somehow join that under there. That'll work. And it would be on and off. Maybe that's slightly too short, so I'd need to put, sorry, I didn't want to blind you with that light. And the reason I'm focusing on 2026 is it's filling up very quickly with workshops and planning to release details on my newsletter on the 1st of December. Had a big chat with Zoe at Green Door Studios today. She was the one who inspired me to buy this really big diary. So my diary is going to be called the Zoe or the Z, or I'll go and look at Z, A to Z, a Z. Anyway, you can see, not too badly jet lagged. And let's get into some stitching. So it's nice always to come back to a piece. There's an untold story here. Look at that flower waiting to go to flower. This needs to be put down. This is the cuff. And I was enjoying doing some stitching with different threads. I think they're silk threads on there. So let's just get a needle, which I deliberately got out before we started. Maybe this is the one. I don't think so. And I just will grab a random thread. As I said, I missed all the colours because I limited my palette. Actually, there's one of my own ones. Let's celebrate with a bit of Kate. I need to do some dyeing. That's just reminded me. So yeah, Friday at home, first day after being away. It's always a funny one because you sleep because you're exhausted from the travel, but your body doesn't quite know what's going on. So I woke up at 1:30 and felt wide awake, but stayed in bed. Woke up at 5:30 and stayed awake then. Spent time with my husband before he went to work, and then did some sort of my work, which is reading your comments and looking at other YouTubes and Instagram, and thinking about making lists, obviously, for what has to be done. And I'm going to just check. Yeah, you can see this, but you probably don't need this big diary underneath it. And then I remember just feeling a bit sleepy, and I went to sleep for another like 4 hours, which seemed very crazy. So consequently now I'm like feeling in peak condition, even though it's just starting to turn evening. So we'll put this piece of applique off a tray cloth or a napkin or a tablecloth, I can't remember, down, and then we'll do some embroidery. Yes, so I decided that was a great reason to come back to this diary cover, textile cover, because again, if I make it slip on and slip off, I can add to it when I'm taking it with me. And I did miss it because a lot of exciting things are happening in 2026, and exciting things are happening in 2025 still, and I don't want to not treasure all of these days. I've been trying to find my my November, my Thanksgiving panel. I can't find it. That bright orange one, which is probably sort of good because you guys probably need a rest from my incredible brights. But I have found my mum pouch, and so I'll work on that tonight, I think. Very inspired to go back and work on that. And there's a pin. Who knows where that came from? My husband has just brought the Christmas tree out of the garage. So, and I was a bit worried about my one. Sorry, this is just a Kate rave and a chat. So I know they're all there. So thank you, and I hope it's okay to just let it out because I haven't been talking for a few days. My husband, I think, is getting sore ears. What was I going to say? Oh, I suddenly got worried about my one flower at a time quilt. That is, it stopped touring. And I thought, oh my gosh, what if that quilt came home and I missed it when we were away? So that was on my conscience this morning. So imagine if that just didn't come home to me. I would be devastated. But the good news is I reached out to the lovely people and they said, no, we've confirmed your address and they're coming early December. So I will share that moment, and I have in my mind designed my next one. Well, I don't design, you know that, but I'm inspired, put it that way, about what I'm going to try and do for my next quilt. and we'll see if it comes true. So we did go for a little walk around my garden that I'd missed while I was away. Hydrangeas are out, and you know, they say the colour depends on the soil. So last year they were all pink, but now they're a bit bluish, which is the colour I always want. I've got a new variety. No, not a new variety. What's that called? Hybrid, maybe. Just outside my window, and yeah, mostly blue and some purples on the one. So I've slowed down on the stitching because I've got the edge of the original piece, as well as applique fabric is not always on the softest cotton. So I'm just going to cheat. I do have to say thank you for those who just so beautifully and faithfully write me comments, and I haven't answered for a long time. I want to get back to that, you know, that I always read them and I love them. Okay, so what do you do when you've got a lot of just plain fabric and you haven't got another applique? I'm tending just to like extending the lines to make swirls. And I'll show you what I mean by that. And these are just the ways that you can run your thread out as well as adding texture. And you won't think it makes a difference right now at this time when there's so much of the piece still to go, but it really does result in that overall stitchy, textured, live, growing, thriving feel. Oh, I see what's come off. So after this, I'm going to go and make a pavlova. My son's favourite dessert, and they're coming down tomorrow. So I'll make one tonight and then one in the morning. That's what I'm thinking. As I said, I've got the Christmas tree up, so it's fantastic, like having energy. It's maybe the wrong time of the day, but I will just go. And second night is always when I feel the jet lag the most. So I may as well work, decorate. It's not really work, is it? Make, create, all those things. I'm nearly out of cotton. So next time I do this, I might show you the actual construction of how to make it come off the diary. I don't think I've got any journals here with detachable ones. I haven't made a journal for a while. Well, I'm making my memory journal from India, but gosh, just too many projects. So there we are. It's just like a little wave. And are you straight? I don't know what's happened. I can't get my camera. I'm sorry if I'm wonky, but that's probably who I am anyway. Okay, I'm loving that. This is what has come off when I said I saw that pin. So I was gifted, and I think this is again, how to mix things that are not vintage into a piece. And by your stitching, you can take away the gloss. I can gouache it if I find it looks too shiny. But beautiful stitches to be had there. Now, am I breaking my rule? It's not a flower under there, so I'm adding a flower. But I don't think I need all of that. So let's just harvest. We'll harvest that bit first. And I like that because then that's flower to flower or leaf to leaf or whatever we may choose to call it. Let's take that one from under there. Okay, so see that looks like it's always been there. I'll leave that flapping for the back. What do I want to do? Do I want to add, I wouldn't mind a little bit of Liberty pop down the side. I haven't got that on yet, but might do like a little frill. Just like a third of the way, or could it go down? It could go down to meet this flower. So let's double that strip. And just use something that doesn't cost very much money, which is this crochet op your shop cotton. I'm just going to use this to start a frill. Oh, I've got some plastic under my shoe. I'm sorry for the rustling. We'll do it single. I want the raw side to show, like be the edge of the frill. So I'm going to go down to the bottom, doesn't really worry where you start. And let's just do giant stitches. And I've made a big decision. I may as well say it now because I'm thinking about it. I'm not going to give a prompt for December for our kin collab. I think you and we are all busy enough. So we're going to finish with November Thankful. And I will announce, though, our 2026 project in January, like at some point during the month. So if you're waiting for December, I'm sorry. I do know so many of you are doing Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, that big quilt, and that is a wonderfully big project. So If you're doing that, you have more time. If you're not doing that, I know a lot of you are making presents and gifts. So I'm not going to add to the workload. And if you feel lost without something, like why not go back and make another of something that you really liked doing? How does that sound? And I'm going to devote that time actually to my Facebook kin book, a kin Facebook page. I don't know whether that came out right, but I haven't been sharing my work and stories on there very much. So I'm going to do that. We can celebrate all our work for the year. Why don't we do that? Pick our favourite project or set some goals. Who knows what we can do? All right. See, this is pretty boring, but it's forced me to chat and think at the same time. Nearly there. I usually don't do this. I usually just gather as I go because I'm impatient. Like I put it onto the fabric. I'm going to decorate my tree tonight with Indian ribbons and trims. I got that idea from the girls on the tour, and that won't be my permanent decoration for the season, but I thought before I put all my bangles away and trims and ribbons, I'll cut some short lengths and make some, very inexpensive but different decorations that'll look colourful and remind me of the process or the journey or whatever. Okay, so I've got this space to fill up. So we're going to gather up a not too tight a fringe. And I'm going to pin that from there, if I could find a pin. From there. I could get wound more. To there. Yep. And maybe over a little bit so we have the layering effect of the blanket stitch. Yep. All right. So now we'll go with the contrast. Let's go with this mustard. Just because it's there. I'm just securing that because I still had thread in that needle. Have I told you that I gave my husband like a little slideshow of my Indian pictures, and I've decided to be quite untechy, and I want to go to Officeworks next week and get some of the photos printed out, but I don't want them as photos. I want them as pages that I can use in a journal, but a visual journal, so that I've got page after page of inspiration. I feel like getting them on matte paper. We'll see how this all works, but this is my idea. Might be expensive, but the designs I saw and the colors, I want them here in my nest rather than always just in a photo album. I shouldn't say just, or on my phone. And I'll put some up on my storyboard, which I started before I went. And of course I'll show you. And I can take them to the green door and show people. So that's on my list. I haven't really got any money to spend because I've gone a little overboard. But that was the mindset, wasn't it? No regrets. If I saw it, I loved it. I know I will use it all. Oh, having a very naughty time here, sorry. It's always for the company, isn't it, rather than the beauty. Oh, goodness me. I probably should have just used the crochet thread, but I didn't want to. And this is hay fever, by the way. Sorry, I'm back amongst the ryegrass. The Highlands is full of pollen, beautiful blooms, but when it is windy and then it rains a bit, it's the classic combination for someone who's sensitive in their nose like me. I've given up on doing running stitch. Oh, now I'm just doing big stitches. But it's looking pretty, I think. Caught the frill there. So I'll just chop that. Unsuccessfully, so we'll chop again. There we are. I just realized I've been silent. That's because I'm really enjoying this. Well, it's not it's not that I don't enjoy when I'm talking to you, but you know what I mean. Very soothing. It's my little respite after being busy in the house. Suitcases are back in the garage. Yep, so if I just go back to the 1st of December, if you're a diary keeper, and this is about a diary, my newsletter will come out. It'll have more specific details of my workshops. I think I'll be just asking for a deposit, a small deposit, just to lock those in, and then pay in full closer to when they are, and also releasing some bundles. I don't know what I'm going to call them because they're not really kits. I thought about that, and I'm not a kit person, but sharing, you know, some nesty, some Bauerberg goodies I'm going to share with you, if you have a little bit of interest. Now, what am I doing here? I have stitched one layer down. I haven't stitched the top. So let's use this beautiful thread to just do a line of decorative running over the top. Oh, that's the pin. I kept thinking, what's that decoration? I'll go over here. And this isn't stitched here, so we'll just use some seed and all sorts of all sorts of, not decorative, but little stitches to add interest. And then up here, I really always like if there's a little cluster of stitches. So let's go over here a few bits and then turn round and come back. And back again. So this mustard is like a really nice contrast. But not straight out, like not an even finish is what I'm thinking. Too many things at the same time, aren't I? And if you haven't got a diary or a journal, maybe you've got a favourite book. We've been told in India that there's particular places where people cover their books in fabric or leather, so they all look the same, and you know, there's a special spot where you read the spine. So again, it's like the mystery. I loved that idea. So maybe you've got a book that you could make a special textile cover, or buy a cheap 26, here's a gift idea, a cheap 26 diary that maybe not have the most wonderful cover, but it's practical, and make a removable cover and give it as a gift. Oh, there we are. That's fallen out now. So you can see we've done with one thread, we've got a frill, we've got a little journey across my cardigan onto the side of the cuff where there's this flower, and then some decorative. Oh gosh, really standing on that. Okay, so let's try that out. On there. Yep. Oh, low battery, so that's a signing. So that, oh, so heavy and beautiful. So my eye is telling me now I want to focus next on this area around here and add the fabric. So I'll do, I think I said to you, I'm going to do a thinner fabric so that I can still use the elastic, I'm thinking. But that might change by the next time you see me. But there you go. That is my 2026 big journal cover, the A to Z, the Z or the Z, inspired by Zoe. Okay, over and out for now. Please take care, stay well, and happy stitching and creating. Bye.